Good afternoon. My name is Craig Mayer. I'm Director for Emerging Technologies at the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies in South Africa. So we at WSIS+20, because we received an award which vindicates that one of the programs that we've developed, which is the Digitech program, has done an extraordinary amount of work in the development of ICT SMMEs in South Africa. So how does it work? So if an ICT SMME comes to me and says, Craig, I've got a great idea for an app, but I don't know how to develop a business plan, because normally tech guys focus on tech. What we do from there is we will say we've signed MOUs with all the big multinationals, Vodacom, Microsoft, Huawei, etc. And all of them have mentorship programs built into them. So this helps us. So I would then say Microsoft's got great business development programs, IBM has got great infrastructure programs, etc., etc. So this became then, all of these guys, then all the MOUs we've signed with them became the basis of what the Digitech program was about. So the Digitech program now has gone forward. This is the third global award we've won in the last 3 years. The first being in Bengaluru in India for the G20, where one of our respondents, Dr. Catherine Malharaba, won the Best MedTech Award. So that was then the beginning. We knew that we were onto something. We've also brought in venture capital. So we then, once the SMMEs are highly skilled, highly trained, and they can ready to pitch their program, we then send it to venture capitalists to say if they require that kind of seed funding. We also brought in academia, because we've got a lot of PhD students doing AI and so forth. They need real world examples. Our guys need the real world boost of AI. It's a marriage made right there. So that's the ecosystem. Government, that's us. We create the platform. We then link it up to public-private partnerships. That's the Microsofts and so forth, as I've mentioned. Then we have venture capital, and then last but not least, we have the academia. So our Minister Solly Malatsi, he was here on Monday to accept this award, and it's fitting because he's also assumed the chairmanship of WSIS for 2025-2026, and that's sort of heightened the profile completely. And back home also, he is obviously G20 is in our country this year, and this is the big thing moving towards that sphere towards the end. So he's the head of the Digital Economy Working Group. Great stuff for him, because this is another place where we're going to be profiling the Digitech program as well.
So is it a solution that helps the people in South Africa?
Yes.
Like, is it for researchers, for AI engineers, or is it for startup entrepreneurs, or who's taking advantage of this? Okay,
so it's primarily for startup entrepreneurs, the guys who got the great innovations. I can give you an example of that innovation if you want to know. So last year we were in a deep rural town. We were doing a launch of a Wi-Fi at a school. A young woman came up to me afterwards and she said, can I just speak to you for a second? I said, sure. Now, in the rural areas, for instance, the people subscribe to a rural way of life, which means they would rather go to the traditional leader than go to the government municipality. The traditional leader intercedes on their behalf with the municipality. So if you reach an age where you can be apportioned a piece of land, the problem with that is, so the chief says, that's your land over there. The problem is no one knows that it's there, that you're there. So when you go to the local bank and you say, I'm going to open up a bank account, the first thing they will ask you in the rural areas is proof of residence. And you can't say it's over the second hill on the left-hand side next to the guys with the 10 cows. You can't do that. So this young woman designed this application, and which links the municipality to digital leadership to the financial systems. And within 2 hours, based on geolocation, you get a stamped PDF via email saying, I live here. You can take that to the bank, it gets accepted, and you're financially inclusive immediately. So now, if you live in the urban areas, that would never have come into our sphere. So it's primarily looking at that kind of innovations, that kind of developments. It can be entry level or it can be very high tech. In fact, we've got guys doing cryptocurrency platforms. We've got people doing handheld anti-breast cancer devices, that sort of thing. But it's people who just want to get the next big boost.
Because there's a lot of people in South Africa, right?
Yes.
How many people are on? It's like
around 63 million. Yes.
And it's great when AI and digital tools can make the life better for so many people, and on the whole spectrum.
Yes.
Not only the people that can afford the latest Apple Vision Pro, whatever, or the Teslas, but also the people who, like, everybody should be able to benefit from technology.
Correct.
And are you helping?
Absolutely. So our government is heavily involved in a program called SA Connect. The primary vision of that is to connect all the rural areas, all the government facilities. It's been ongoing for about 5 years, but so you can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't have connectivity, then it dies immediately. So that's one of our primary aims, is to connect those guys, and that is once you have connectivity in those areas, then Digitech comes to the fore, because it's pointless if you have a phone, or you design an app, but you can't upload it to the internet. It doesn't make sense. So
you need to make a deal with your guy. What's his name? Elon. You get the Starlink. Starlink would be great for your country, right?
Well, there's discussion around it. A satellite
it's not
solution,
yet approved, right?
No, it's not approved.
But it could.
It could be approved. Yes.
That would be a big change potentially.
Yeah. You see,
for rural areas.
Correct. In the past, we had terrestrial connectivity, but of course, there's no return on investment if people go deep rural, because the guys are underprivileged or they're impoverished. They can't afford that. If you have a satellite solution, it probably is going to be expensive, but you would cover the entire country. But there's more than one company. I mean, there's many other companies like Starlink. As I said, Elon's probably got the biggest mouth, and he's the biggest company right now.
He's the coolest guy. I'm joking. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm joking. But but it's exciting to see that you're talking about enabling small entrepreneurs in South Africa to, when they got an idea, and with AI, there's so much potential to develop new apps much more easily. It's going to accelerate innovation, right?
Absolutely. AI is the game changer. That is why our departments and the minister, by extension, is absolutely clear that if we miss this AI wave right now, we're going to be digital slaves for the next 100 years. Africa's got the youngest population group in the entire world. We have the most resources in terms of the natural wealth and so forth. That's a known factor. The critical link is our youth, because that's the people. In South Africa currently, we have a very big unemployment problem. It's more than 60% unemployment of graduates who are unemployed.
60?
60, yes.
Unemployed from graduate?
Correct. Now that's a big problem. That's a huge problem. Now, how do you? That's why the Digitech program, even though it's just very small, is very important, because that's the kind of thing where we're telling the guys, instead of looking for a job, create your own. That's why, in my mind at least, when one of my SMMEs, when I say mine, the Digitech SMMEs, winning awards is all good and well, but they have to, when they scale, they must hire people. That's real success in our part. So if one SMME hires 20 people, for instance, and there's 5,000 of them, you can see exponentially how it will work. So for me, SMMEs are the future. The current big guys over there, the usual suspects, they already saturated in terms of the amount of jobs that they can create. Government can't create jobs. We need the private sector to build itself. And that's why we see this so important.
I really want to see BRICS CDBC. I'm joking, but it would be great to see how much is there in terms of digital currencies, not Bitcoin, but I heard that there's some countries in Africa that have really good, for many years, mobile payments and stuff like that.
Yes.
And that really also helps startups and stuff, right? If there's an easy way to transact, is it already set up?
Africa's got 52 countries inside it, so it's each one has got their own regulations and so forth. In South Africa, we're very prudent fiscally. On the fiscal regulation around cryptocurrencies is still a slightly grey area. We've been told that they've taken cryptocurrencies and they say it's an asset class. So it's not an actual currency, it's an asset class. I don't know the difference, I'm not the expert in that field, but what I can say is that Nigeria, third biggest adopter of cryptocurrency in the world. And who's driving that? The youth. So in terms of a digital currency, I long for the day when we see something where we have a single digital currency across the whole of Africa. Because currently, the intra-Africa trade is only 3%, which means we're getting 97% from outside. And then you have this ratio of dollars and euros and so forth, and our currencies are much weaker than that. So I'm not saying it's unfair, but I'm just saying we want to compete on a similar platform, and cryptocurrencies will be able to enable that.
But crypto, or maybe it's not even crypto, it's central bank.
Central bank is,
like some kind of stable thing, the click, the money is zero fee, and it would be that would be so great. I don't know if it exists in South Africa, not yet?
Not yet. There's been different companies who have come forward with, like for instance, M-Pesa in Kenya has been very successful as a method of money transfer. There's always fees involved in that, and it works there. South Africa's general financial infrastructure is very advanced. I mean, you can go into any bank and And if they have an ATM, you can withdraw money from that ATM across banking systems. From what I understand, that isn't done in other parts of the world. You know, if you have NatWest or whatever, you can only withdraw from those things. But our banking system is interlinked. So it's very advanced in that way. But money coming in terms of remittances, especially sub-Saharan Africa, is a huge amount of money. We're talking about $450 billion last year being sent into sub-Saharan Africa by expatriates working in countries like this. Now, how do you utilize that? How do you minimize the bank transfers? And you're right, cryptocurrency, blockchain will enable that.
Gold back. There's so much speculation, but you were mentioning that minister is now the president for this year of the WSIS.
That's correct, yes.
And what can this bring? What potentially is the vision here? Can you say something?
Yes. So basically, he's bringing a developmental African vision to it, which in developed countries or developed countries don't really see the problems that we have. Sometimes we've got infrastructure problems, we've got connectivity problems, as was the Starlink issue. So hopefully with his leadership, and he's very driven, believe me when I tell you, this program this Digitech program is literally him personified. He sees this over here as a way to move forward rapidly, because we have to do it at pace.
He's a young guy, right?
He's only 37 years old.
And sometimes the young guys, they're impatient to get things to happen as quickly as possible, right? So many people need better tools.
That's right.
In the digital world.
Correct. And that's why his chairmanship of WSIS, possibly, I know that they meet every quarter or something like that, but the vision that he will bring to it will be from a developmental nation. We don't have endless resources. We have to be deliberate and intentional as to how we focus on the little that we have. And his vision, bringing over here, he will open up our minds, open up eyes, and say, maybe we can do things differently. Because Africa's time it really is now. We say, when is it our turn to be able to do these things? We have a young population of hundreds of millions of young people who are desperate to move forward. The things of the past are the things of the past. We can learn from it, but we must look forward. And that's what I feel he brings to it.
So it's a really exciting future. Looking forward to see better digital tools for everybody in the world.
That's what we see. And the people who will build these tools are the youth themselves. We can't rely on the big companies all the time. No, we want African solutions for African problems. Not to say we want to exclude anybody, but we must build our own expertise inside and not export our best, like Elon.
Because the best people to develop something is sometimes the user who know what they need.
Precisely.
And they develop the solution for the problems that they have every day. That can really help.
Exactly. And it goes back to the solution I told you about with the stamp PDF. Now, again, not a big deal in terms of tech, but effective, you bet. I mean, now you have hundreds of thousands of people, because there's 19 million people living in rural areas in South Africa. You can't just discard them and say, well, that's there. And say, how do you bring them into it? You can't leave anybody behind. That's our number one thing. We can't have a situation where just because you live in the rural area or you're poor, you're not financially inclusive. That's a mistake. I think India has proven with microfinancing that is a huge force. So we've got the people, we've got the expertise, they're just looking for a platform, and that's what the Digitech platform is about.
Nice. And if there's a reliable way to send money to this specific person in one click, it really helps also to just like, if you want to target some kind of support somewhere to some specific people, it should be easy.
Correct. And so, in fact, intra-Africa trade, in terms of, as I said, it's only 3%. Now, you can imagine if that was increased to 10%. Exponentially, that's billions and billions of dollars. And we will have to be able to transfer these funds across Africa. We see that cryptocurrency it's still in these beginning phases. But again, South Africa is very prudent as to how it operates in that sphere. And I think the way we're doing it there is correct. And you will see within the next 2 years how that will change. We're looking at a stable digital currency. It would be fantastic to trade with.